Hello, hello, I'm the official name raider. My job is to look through the first page of Google, review the nicknames provided by the internet, and then give my recommendations at the end. Today we're looking at Roggenrola, Boldore, and Gigalith. And for this episode, the spreadsheet is actually empty. We had a good run, but it ran out once we hit rock bottom. So I actually thought this was kind of funny because I was looking at it and I was like, Dan Goro looks. Make sure I said that right. Yeah, Dan Goro looks familiar. You know why? Because it's the idiot from Twilight Princess. That's kind of funny. The Japanese name for Gigalith is just the Twilight Princess idiot. I'm not opposed to Rushmore, but I am trying to think if there's a better Pokemon for it. And naturally, my first thought is like Glalie, and it would be perfect. Oh my god, imagine a fucking they do another region and it's just based off like I think it's North Dakota, South Dakota, and it's just a South Dakota Glalie and it's a rock type. Hilarious. The whole region is empty because there's nothing there. To be honest, when you're starting your article off with creative and funny nicknames and what are some cool names, and the first thing you say is Giggle, I've already lost all self-respect. All respect I could possibly have for you. Meros Sohail? I don't even know how to say your name. I don't even care to learn it because I'm that disappointed in you. And I bet your parents are too. Okay, we'll talk about fucking quartz. Jesus, I've seen it like 3 times already. We get it. It's a big old rock. I'm unsure how I feel about it, if you want me to be honest. That's why I didn't say anything about it earlier. Because, firstly, if you want to go quartz, you could also go like obsidian or something like that. And I know we've seen things like that before, but I feel like generally we haven't seen things like that for other rock Pokemon. Like you didn't see cobblestone for Golem or whatever, so it's weird. To me, it's if it weren't a rock Pokemon, I think I'd be more interested in it. Because you could be like, oh, well, here's my Poochyena. I named it Golden Retriever. Like it's not the same, but is the same. So I don't know. It's just weird to me. But if that's your dig, whatever. Look, boy, I'm on to you and your stupid giggle. Fuck you. It's a bad name. Anyway, the rock, just because I'm sure if I don't say it, somebody else will. So if that's your dig, fine. But I think it's like very low bar, low brow comedy. Like hard 1 out of 10. It's not funny. I understand the joke. I get it. I love the rock. But it's just not funny. And no, naming it Dwayne does not elevate the joke. It actually makes it worse and less funny, and it makes me want to punch you. I gotta be honest, I'm not sure what the fuck Led Zeppelin has to do with it. Like, we saw this, and I think it stands to reason that it's a much better choice on Drifbloom, Dead Zeppelin being the superior joke. We're fine with rock bands. You want to do a rock band, that's totally fine. I'm just trying to figure out where Led Zeppelin came from. And then Chris Rock I also saw before, and it's technically the exact same wavelength as The Rock. It just doesn't piss me off as much because I don't see people making Chris Rock jokes. I hear everyone making The Rock jokes. So after being beaten in the head with it for the last 20 years, it's gotten on my nerves. This is like the only time I've ever seen anyone make a Chris Rock joke. And then I also saw a Stoner before, and I considered acknowledging it, but I was like, nah, that's stupid. I still stand by it, but whatever. Just say the word weed and potheads start laughing. I'm only going to talk about hardcore because we haven't actually seen shit all for this episode, so at least this one's different. And I don't necessarily have a problem with it as a name, I just don't think it's... I don't think it's that interesting, but at the same time I think it's much more interesting than anything else we've seen. Rock hard is kind of a joke I thought up myself as well, penis, ha ha ha. Very, very lowbrow joke, but that was a thought I had just because, like, I was thinking, like, hard rock at first. So I was like, oh, like hard rock music, but then I just switched it around because I think hard rock is an ability as well. So, they're both pretty low, but I'll just be honest and say, hey, I had a shit nickname at one point, too. I don't Ben 10, and I assume this is it says fan fiction, I don't know. My first thought was some Let's Player idiot, but I don't know. But Diamond Head from Ben 10, I mean, that's better than just Diamond, if that makes any difference. But that's it, though. We've reached the bottom. There wasn't There really wasn't shit, if I'm completely honest with you. Like, we didn't really find anything. Like, a lot of it was very uninspired, basic surface level jokes, and that was it. Like, honestly, I think the most interesting thing was Don Goro. Not because it was a good name, but because it was a funny coincidence that its Japanese name was also the name of a boss from Twilight Princess. Because when you look at Goro, you can't help but think Zelda Goron. And although Goron could work, it's better for a roly Pokemon like Golem, you know? I don't have a personal choice. I mentioned the rock hard thing before, and I have written down Womp or Thwomp, and I know those were things I came up with, but like, I also, in my opinion, do. Like, I think it's an okay thing, but I'm like, there's gotta be someone that those would fit better. Because a big old rock pointy boy that doesn't really move much, to me, probably might not be the best choice. But I like the idea of Womp or Thwomp as nicknames, so it's like, I want to use those. And arguably Thwomp would be better, because, you know, it didn't used to be covered, well, it cycled back and forth, it's had different designs. But, you know, it's covered little pointy bits, just like Thwomps in Mario, so, like, there's that, it's just, you expect something a little bit more agile, I guess, opposed to something that you're going to throw out and it's just going to sit on the floor and stay still the whole time, you know? So that's it. If you have any ideas at all, congratulations, you're better than the first page of Google. So let's see what you got. Write it down. Tell us what you've used. Tell us what you'd recommend. Hold the fuck up. I need to start remembering to check the goddamn comment suggestions real quick. Yeah, we got 2. Alright, first, before we end, Kryptonite. I mean, hell, I don't really have any complaints. I don't have any objections. I don't have anything to say. The whole it's not green, like, I'm not super well versed in Superman, but I do recall from the Injustice 2 game with Bizarro, I believe he has a blue kryptonite or something like that, so, hey, cool. Oh, yeah, and then there's Cragalanche, which also, Crag and Avalanche, Curse Monster, and there was also in Super Paper Mario I know there was some sort of joke with it, because I feel like Cragalanche was a Super Paper Mario enemy, but I also feel like it's not. It was like Cragly something. I don't know if it's the Cragly Ho, but regardless, I think Super Paper Mario because of that chapter. So I know there's some sort of reference in there, so I'm fine with that, and I like that. Congratulations, you two have outshined the first page of Google. Way to go. Let's see what else we can come up with while I remember and try and pay attention and for whatever reason still not get in the habit of doing this whole name rating shit. It's only been 14 episodes. I think this is episode 13. I was right, it is 14. I win. Okay, bye. I won. You can't argue with me anymore.